Hey, what's going on, crew? All right, this is gonna be your log roll technique here. A couple things we should have. One, our bodies. Two, the ground. Three, nice to haves. If you can get a square pad, square foam pad, something like that. This is probably about a couple inches in thickness here. Place it on the ground, it just helps keep the neck in a neutral position. As I roll, I don't have to really worry about incorporating my neck. But if I don't have it, it's not the end of the world, all right? We're gonna start with the technique using the pad. And I'll show you the difference when I don't have the pad. Not much, but it's helpful to have. We're gonna start here in our supine position. This just means on our back. All the things are fair game here. The things we've discussed in a 3-month supine breathing video, right? Rib cage pull down, neck nice and long, muscles are turned off in the neck, nice and relaxed. Legs are at ease, I'm not holding any tension. And this is why we're in a hook lying position. Right? Hook lying just means my feet are grounded, right? My knees are kind of to like a 90 degrees. If I don't have that much range of motion, just make sure the feet are supported so that the low back is in a nice neutral orientation. That is, the ribs are pulled down, low back in gentle contact with the ground, and the hips are in a neutral orientation. If I flatten and straighten my legs out here, what tends to be the compensation is the hips will go into an anterior pelvic tilt, and then I'll start getting daylight under my low back. So for that reason is why I like to have legs bent. Now the log roll technique in itself is very straightforward. All I'm doing is rolling side to side, but there are a few key things I want to point out here. One is going to be upper lower body disassociation, right? So if I just tell you to roll on your side, typically the strategy is some sort of this maneuver where there's one portion of the body that's leading and the other portion of the body is lagging, right? So usually upper body's leading, lower body's lagging when you roll to the side. In the opposite direction, usually lower body leads and upper body lags. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it all together. Okay, so I'm going to be here. Ribs pulled down, nice neutral position, neck is relaxed. And then all I'm doing is I'm going to reach across my midline. As I reach across my midline, I'm going to gently push into my outside leg. That's going to be my left side here if I'm rolling over to my right. So I'm rolling over to my side. As I roll to my side, remember, I want to keep trunk integrated. So basically, my head all the way to my pelvis are one unit, and I don't want to disassociate that through rotation. They're all coming together. So it's one rotisserie. Okay, so one Costco rotisserie chicken from head to hips, pushed outside of the foot as I reach across midline. And then I'm in this nice side lying position. I should feel no torque on my low back, right? This should be all integrated, core is strong, integrating the breath to use the diaphragm to create additional stability. And now I'm in the sideline position. You see, I strategically placed my hand here in what's known as a 90-90, right? So basically I have one 90-degree angle between my torso and my upper arm, and then I have another 90-degree angle at my elbow, right? So I'm basically just doing this sort of crowbar. I'm here in this position. Reason being is to go the other way, just like I push in the outside of my foot to come over to my side, now I'm gonna use my rotator cuff. So this is as much trunk integrated as much as it is shoulder rotator cuff integrated. So I'm here and I want to think of making myself in a nice big broad kind of chested position. I don't want to roll over or flatten myself out and compress the shoulder here. So I want to stay nice and big. And you can see my neck's not supported, but that's okay. I'm using the shoulder structure. I'm retracted through my neck and I'm nice and engaged in a neutral position. And then from here, all I'm doing is I'm going to push through the outside of my elbow and then facilitate myself back as one unit. Right? So again, integrating the breath. So again, I'm going to show you one more time in real speed, full speed, outside foot, push, plant the arm here, and then I'm off to my side as one unit. I can also plant my foot here in this position to give myself a little oomph. And if my shoulder just doesn't like this, I can also use my hand. Right? So hand goes to the inside of my upper lower arm, distal arm, furthest out. My forearm, call it my forearm here, right? To the inside here, and I'm pushing through my foot, simultaneously pushing through my hand to corkscrew myself back, right? Back, and then forward. So that's how I like to integrate the breath. You just heard it right there, right? All I'm doing is as I inhale, I'm gonna push. Reason being is I wanna create as much stability as I can to rotate this. If I don't have any stability, then I create sort of that torque or sort of that disassociative rotation, right? Remember, I want to keep this all together. So even before I rotate, I can just take that breath in, feel everything expand. Now I'm nice and stable and rigid, and then I roll. And as I push, and I reach the bottom of my breath, make sure I don't lose contact here. So there should be no daylight, just as if I were on my back. I don't want to have any daylight under my low back. I don't want any daylight under my rib cage. So Only exhale as much breath as you're able to maintain contact and activation through here. So you can kind of see how I'm maneuvering. You might say, hey, Sheldon, I see you here. Aren't you disassociating your hips? Well, remember, like I said, head all the way to pelvis. So really, I don't want to disassociate what's more or less my thoracolumbar region. So my mid back from my low back, but also lumbar is going to be attached to this. So you have cervical, which is your neck. You have your thorax, which is your mid back, and then you have your lumbar, which is the other piece here. These are all one unit. I want to keep the spine with the head as one unit, and the hips can do what they do, right? Because they're going to be their own sort of fulcrum point. So I'm not worrying about that. Really, I'm worrying about keeping all of this together as one unit. So when I rotate, everything rotates as one, right? And then when I rotate, I'm not creating a compensation by bucking up my rib cage and then just kind of rolling over. Remember, I want to keep the rib cage down, keep the belly full of air, nice smooth rotations, integrating the breath. And you can see here kind of how I'm using the neck sort of support. When I'm on my back, nice and neutral. But when I roll over to the side, there's going to be some engagement here, right? You can use a pillow, but again, if a little neck activation happens, that's okay. Just make sure you're breathing through the belly. That's going to be the main emphasis here. And when the neck activation happens, make sure you're not lurch your neck. You're in a nice neutral position, right? Crown of missiles shooting through the sky. Chin is tucked back, beautiful double, triple chin, whole nine. And then integrate the rolling pattern with the breath. And that's going to be your supine log roll. So if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all in the next video.